As far as getting into the MLL, was it really a goal of yours to play in the MLL? Do you think, or did you think like the MLL just found you and it was obviously you were focused on winning championships, beating Salisbury every year, right? Was that something that was always in the back of your mind or
Yeah, it's something that I would think about for sure when you're seeing guys like Justin Smith and Steven Berger and a lot of these guys, man, coming up, Eric Smith from Salisbury going and playing the MLL. And it was just like, yeah, man, Division III guys are rolling in, man, and making a name for themselves and making all-star games and crushing it. So it's definitely something that I would have loved to do, and I knew that the whole time. When I was there, though, I was focused on just being the best I could there because I know if that didn't happen, then I couldn't play in the MLL. But I would say it was probably after as the beginning of my junior year when I really felt like it was going to happen because after our scrimmage at Towson, Spencer Ford at the time he was the GM at the Bayhawks, and he actually found me after the game when we were leaving, and he was like, "Hey, you're a junior, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right, cool. I'm going to look for you next year. I'm the GM." Obviously, I knew who he was, but
yeah.
he's on the GM of the Bayhawks. Next year, when you're out, I'm going to look for you. All this. And then that summer, after the year, I talked to some other guys, worked some trilogy camps, and talked with Brian Boyle and a couple other guys. And just the feedback I was getting from them was that basically like you're going to get picked up. So it was cool. Obviously, I didn't know that for sure, but it was cool to hear some of that from those guys who were really accomplished in the league and were some all-time greats. So yeah, man, it was a good feeling. And then I think my senior year is when it really, the way that things started off, it really sunk in. That I didn't get drafted, which was a little bit of a surprise with some of the discussions that I had with Coach Canabine and the things that he was being told. As the year went on, it became more clear that was going to happen. So I was fucking pumped, man. I was really excited, and it was a good memory for sure.
You got picked up by one of the most decorated teams in Boston, and you got to be a part of. I know you said you're on practice squad, but dude, you got to practice against probably some of the best teams in pro lacrosse history. Let's be real with the Cannons.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Shout out Bill Day, man. He gave me an opportunity to pick me up. I didn't play it all for them, but he still gave me the shot to go up there and practice and be a part of it. And meeting Rabel and Ryan, obviously I knew Ryan Boyle from working his trilogy camps, but just being around those guys, seeing the speed of the game, man, I loved it. So it was a sick first experience, man. And yeah, I was honored to be a part of it. And it did probably, admittedly, the whole thing didn't go how I had hoped for, but I still ended up playing 20 games and got some cool stats and highlights. So overall, man, at this point in my life, I'm happy to look back on it, and it was a lot of fun. I wish the competitor in me wishes it was a little better, but I'm grateful for the opportunity and met a lot of good people along the way.
And what were some of your favorite moments in the MLL? I know you played a bunch of games with the machine, and I got to watch you play quite a bit in Columbus. And with the Florida launch too, you played a number of games. What were some of your favorite moments? I'm sure they were when you were playing. Maybe they were.
Bro, I'll tell you one of the coolest things that ever happened to me, and this guy is such a legend. Obviously, he's one of the goats, such a legend. We were playing the Charlotte Hounds, man, one time, and Kyle Harrison got the ball out of the box and he lobbed it up to me, man. He was like, "Do your thing, homie." I was like, "Whoa!" And yeah, lobbed me, or I think what happened, a shot went out of bounds, and I was looking to throw it up to him, and he was like, "Do your thing right now," and I was like, "Yeah, that's coming from one of the goats right now." I'm like, "Oh yeah." I wanted to be like, "Yeah, you got it, Mr. Harrison. You got it, my man." But dude, he's one of the best teammates, one of the best guys I've ever been around, man. Just one of the goats on the field, one of the goats just as a person, man, as a teammate. Kyle
Yeah.
Harrison, unbelievable player, obviously, unbelievable guy, just A+ home run of a guy, man. But that was one of the coolest moments because I was like, watch Kyle Harrison play my whole life, and I'm about to throw him the ball, and he's like telling me to, no, man, dodge back there, do your thing. And so just hearing that, I was just like, all right, I better beat this guy for a goal right now, bro.
Pretty sure that game was on
So
ESPN too. I remember that. Yeah, in Charlotte,
yeah,
right?
man. So it was super cool. I think we were playing the launch that day, and my boy Brett Queener was in the net. So it was a lot of fun, man. That was one of those like just surreal moments. And I think the coolest thing early on when you're like a young guy right there is just seeing guys like Kyle Harrison and John Grant Jr. and some of the older guys that you're like, you're walking out of like TV timeout on the field and you're just like, yeah, that's a fucking Nicky Polanco right
We're
there. And
here,
you're
baby.
just like,
We're here.
yeah. And you're just like, holy shit. Yeah. Like I grew up watching these guys. And it's just like, for me, that was one of the coolest fucking things, man. It was just like just seeing those being on the field with those guys, I was just like, holy shit, yeah, this is happening right now.
Well, and like obviously, once you get on the field, the butterflies go away, right? And you rely on your
Right.
instincts and your ability, right? And especially in a free flowing atmosphere, offensive
Yeah.
atmosphere like the MLL. But what were like who were some of the guys that were a little intimidating going against,
Bro,
other than
I was
Tree, other than Simon?
bro, I was about to tell you this story regardless, but I was a teammate with him, but another legend, another GOAT in the PLL Hall of Fame this past summer. Guy's unreal. Brian Spalina. He's another dude, fucking one of the GOATs on the field, one of the best in the Hall of Fame, won a ton of championships, played a ton of minutes. Great. One of the best teammates I've ever been around, man. Obviously, with all the stuff you see when he was playing with the physical and the fights and all the after the whistle stuff. One of the best teammates I've been around, but dude, this is my hand to God. The first fucking scrimmage, man, when I got traded from the Cannons to the Bayhawks, the first scrimmage, we're playing the Denver Outlaws. I remember I'm on the sideline. I'm actually standing next to Tree. Everybody's starters are in, man. Week one is the following week. The Bayhawks and the Denver Outlaws would scrimmage every year, the first scrimmage. We're going on the thing, man. I'm just like, same thing. I'm standing around a little like starstruck. I'm like seeing these guys like Spalina, Nicky Polanco, Drew Westervelt, Brendan Mundorf was there, Jesse Schwartzman's in goal for them. I'm like seeing all these guys, and I'm like, yeah, I'm obviously nervous about getting in because I want to go and perform. Bro, the first series of the game, Nate Watkins comes down, takes a shot. Brian Spalina kills him late, pile drives down on him. A huge brawl breaks out, a huge fight. Nate Watkins gets tossed. Brian Spalina gets tossed. We're in the huddle of a fucking scrimmage, and
Scrimmage,
Brian
bro.
Spalina comes over and screams in the huddle with everybody. He goes, just like when you were a little kid playing in the fucking dirt. I was like, bro, what is going on right now? He was like, playing in the fucking dirt. I was like, bro, this is a scrimmage right now. My first ever Major League Lacrosse anything. I was like, holy fuck, what is wrong with this shit? But dude, Brian Spalina, amazing guy. Can't say enough good things. And he was always a guy who was in my corner when I was trying to climb up in the practice squad off it on and on. He was always a guy that was very good to me. But that's my favorite MLL and my first MLL moment was him and Nate Watkins getting into a legit fist fight. These two like veterans of the MLL, and then getting kicked out. We had to get in a huddle, and then he just sticks his head in the huddle, and he was like, just like when you were playing in the fucking dirt. And I'm like, dude, this guy's wild as shit. Yeah, man, because you hear about it inside the cross, and Biener would tell stories about him, and you're just like, holy shit, man, this is my first experience. The guy's in a fist fight 40 seconds into a scrimmage.
This is unreal. And we're talking about a guy here that doesn't shy away from fist fights. Look at the sling right now. If you can see it, he's got a sling on for those listening. Been boxing, doing a little bit of boxing. He's prepping for this Jake Paul fight coming up.
Yeah, I was doing boxing, man, the last 10 months, man. I was hitting my stride a little bit with the slips and the counters, and I was sparring, man, and slipped through a nice punch. My arm came out, glove came in late to block it. My arm's fully extended and came out, so I had to get surgery on it. But Jake Paul, if you're hearing this, motherfucker, this is gonna get healed up. I'm coming for that ass, boy. Bring the bag, man. 5 milli, and we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Speaking of fights, man, did you ever think you would play in the NLL? Was that something you ever even tried to do? Play
Man,
indoor, play box?
I knew for a second that was never happening.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I should have been more patient with kind of learning the two-man game and stuff like that, but just the style we had at Stevenson and just making things happen a lot at X, off the dodge, in space. I
Switching
didn't
hands.
necessarily love.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
yeah.
necessarily love that, man. And I was just trying to build up my shooting game if I could, which didn't work out great. But the box game, man, hey, look, nothing but respect to those guys. They're unreal players, and it's a tough game, and it's a fun game. At that point in my life, it was going to be very difficult for me to learn and transition. I just felt my best prospects of playing, if I wanted to continue playing, were going to be in the MLL, no doubt.
Man, and have you been to that atmosphere? Have you been out to Vegas yet? Have you seen a Desert Dogs game?
Oh, I've been to Vegas, just unfortunately not for a game, but I've been to Vegas.
Dude, it
Um,
is wild.
I hear it's crazy, man. And I see all the shit on Twitter with the guys saying that the Buffalo Bandits are like 14K people a deep a week.
Yeah.
which is nuts when you think about it, man. I don't know why the PLL should try to take hold of that because look, man, there's nothing in fucking Buffalo. So it's like the Bills Mafia is nuts. They go crazy for the whatever the fucking the Sabres up there, and then the Bandits are crazy in the NLL. So look, they like sports up there, man. And obviously with the NLL really mimicking hockey, they're nuts with it. But I don't know if you've been up there, heard about it, but I hear the indoor the Buffalo Bandits games are just insane.
I keep seeing videos, I keep seeing stuff on Instagram, and they're record breaking attendance records, like just
Right.
unbelievable. Just every single week. And it just looks insane. And we've seen that from Colorado, right? But now Buffalo, after winning a championship last year, they're they love that squad. They absolutely love that.
Yeah.
The damn
Yeah.
parade for the championship looked like an NHL like championship parade. It really did.
Hey, and good for them, man. It's good for the sport. It's good just trying to make this thing as professional as possible. And the NLL, they've done a masterful job of that, man, with the attendance and some of the. I think they were the first ones to really get in on ESPN Plus the way they have. And props to them, man. Much respect. NLL is a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my skill set at that time it just was never gonna translate.
And it's funny, I take buddies, and that's what we're all about at Lax Locks is we're about the reason why I'm doing this is we're trying to bring in fans from other sports at the end of the day, especially in the summer. And shout out to the Rabel brothers for putting together the PLO, a great product. And like
Great product.
the fact that we're able to have this nationally televised games, like as kids, man, like this is what we dreamed of. Like we dreamed of this, and
Oh
now
yeah.
it's finally here. And now in the summer, when these other fans, they have nothing else to bet on, they have nothing else to watch other than baseball. And we can be honest, no disrespect to my baseball guys out there. Just played golf with Zach Kozart today. No disrespect, bro, but nobody's watching baseball for 9 innings anymore
Nobody gives a shit about baseball. It's just
unless
background
you're at
noise.
the
And look,
game.
no disrespect, man. I have a lot of baseball friends, respect the game, but my God, dude, it's just like you're gonna take it's like background noise, bro. Take a girl there on a date, buy some beers, buy some nachos, hang out, pretend like you give a fuck, cheer for a home run, and get out of there. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. Diamond Dog Night, maybe.
Diamond dog night, bro, and that's what it is. But that's the cool thing about lacrosse, man. And that's where I think the NLL is really capitalizing is it's a lot of action, it's a lot of fun, it's physical. And I don't know if the fights help with that, but that's certainly a part of it too. So they're doing it right, man. And the PLL is too, man. I've been to one PLL event in Baltimore 2 summers ago, and I was very impressed, man. Just the whole event, there was something going on. It was, dude, they put on a good show, man.
It's incredible. And I'm so happy that the league really adopted betting and brought betting into the game. I think it's been
Yeah.
fantastic. I think it's a way to get these other fans involved. I know more access to it. I'm here in Houston, so I got to drive 2 hours to Louisiana to place bets. I'll do it.
Holy
But
shit. How's
it's
that? Yeah, that's tough.
drive about an hour 40 to the border, park on the side of the highway, and put your picks in and get the fuck out of there, head back.
Yeah, I was
Make
being
it
a
a weekend.
scumbag earlier today, and I just rolled in, put it under 232.5 on the Bucks Lakers, baby, and we're off and running.
I love it. And it's been really great for the game. Like they put the lines up on the P on they put the live lineup on the games now with the PLO. That was something
Yeah.
you guys never had in the MLO, right? I don't ever think you could even
We
bet on a
never had
game.
that, man. That was back when it was very much frowned upon with the whole betting and all that. It just was taboo with keeping it away from sports if you're playing sports. But dude, it adds a lot of excitement to the game. The casuals now are invested in it.
Yeah.
They watch, they want people to cheer. And yeah, I think having the lines and everything up there is smart. It brings people in, people want to watch. It's the middle of the summer. They're having a Sunday fun day. They're a scumbag degenerate. They have nothing else to do. They're like, yeah, I'll put $100 on the fucking chaos. You know what I mean?
And
And
and they see me rolling into Louisiana, dropping 2 G's on the
they're just
water
like,
dogs.
man,
On the water dogs, they're like,
we've been tracking this guy, Aaron Taylor's iPhone, and he always goes from Houston right over to the border on Louisiana every Sunday morning.
dude, when it was Barstool Sportsbook, it was hilarious. Before they switched over to ESPN Bet SPN, whatever you want to call it. I would go up. The first time I went up to the teller, and I'm like, "Yeah, give me $3 grand on the water dogs." And he's, "Wait, what?" He's, "What are
Yeah.
you talking about?" And just looked at me like I had five heads. And it's just crazy because you can move the line so much in lacrosse. Because
Yeah, that 3 grand probably took it from -2.5 to -22.5.
yeah, it was insane, man.
Yeah,
It
they
was
were like, holy shit.
But now it's catching on. Now it's catching on. I feel like more people are betting on the college game. More people are betting on pro as well. And that's why we decided to do this. So speaking of that, we're pre-draft in the PLL right now. You're pretty versed in what's going on. Who do you think are some of the best teams out there? Who do you think you would take the win? I'm coming off a 3-year futures bet streak, preseason futures bet. So I had the Archers last year. I had the Water Dogs year before in Chaos, but I'm stumped at who I'm going to take this year. I know we still got a draft coming up, but who would you really keep an eye out for?
It's hard when you look at the Water Dogs and just how good Michael Sowers is. I mean, it's an awesome game, man. Obviously, I like his game a lot with the quickness and he's another one, man. He's got great vision, but he can fucking take it to the rack and score, man. So he's a lot of fun to watch. Shout out Grant Ament too. Those guys, I love watching those guys. I feel like that was my game 10 years ago. So it's fun to watch those guys. But I would say, yeah, man, the Water Dogs, they stay healthy. I think that was a little bit of a problem last year for them. But Sowers is fucking really good, man. And I think they're just continue to ride that hot hand.
Yeah, and they got that new goalie now too. Dylan Ward's phenomenal, right? And he's phenomenal
Unreal, dude.
box
Unreal.
game too. He's really great. Even won a ship too. But this new goalie they have, I can't think of the guy's name right now. I was in DC for the Sixes, and he's got an uncanny, unorthodox kind of style to him, but it's just all over the ball. It's absolutely all over the ball. And I think they
How did
really
you like the Sixers, by the way?
Man, and it was funny because I went in and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna bet. I'm not gonna bet the Sixers. Like this isn't real.
Yeah.
Like, and I
Five
ended
minutes
up
in, you had
betting
an
it.
open.
Yeah,
5 minutes in, you had an open bet ticket. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But it was a lot of fun, actually. This was actually the first year I really watched it. Didn't really watch it on TV the first year, but yeah, this year it was a lot of fun, especially because you had the kid coming in to the Redwoods that played football for Stanford, Ricky Mizon. Um,
Yes.
that kid is unbelievable. He played at UVA for a year, played a grad
Last
year
year, I
at
remember that. Yeah.
UVA. And man, he came out and just like that, it was impressive to see him make an impact. I think that's what stood out to me the most in sixes was he made an impact. His first goal, bro, he stung a corner low to high, and it was just electric in there. And I thought this,
Awesome.
I really thought the Sixers atmosphere was great. I think the St. James, I think where they're having it in DC, I think that facility is incredible. And it's just like we were talking about, some of the best atmospheres in lacrosse are intimate and they make you feel close to the game. I think the PLL did a really good job of putting suites, putting boxes right next to the field, getting you field side access. The
Yeah.
crowd, the general admission is really close too, the way those stands are built. And then we hung out, the shitheads kind of hung out in the bar and the on the end line and watch from that angle. But you really got to see the speed of the game, I thought, from that
Right.
angle, and to see different release points from the shooters. But what really stood out to me, and I was talking to my dad, I was talking to Coach T going in, and I was like, who should run away with this is the Cannons. They're just stacked with Asher Nolting and Marcus Holman, who you've played with, had an incredible defense. I'm like, these guys, and what's his name from Towson, really good attackman. Brian Drenner,
Drenner. Yeah. Drenner. Yeah.
unbelievable, man. Those guys together is just really good. And one of my takes a couple years ago when Lyle was there, no disrespect to Lyle Thompson, I think the man's incredible, one of the greatest players he's ever seen. But as far as how those guys play offensively, with kind of Lyle's with his style of play, he needs the ball on his stick, and these guys move the ball very quickly.
Yeah.
And I thought they played better as a team. And that's why I thought, I was like, we really need to watch out for this Cannons team. They covered a lot last year. They were a great team to bet on, but they ended up winning the sixes. But I really think you could see them possibly win it all this year in the PLO. As of right now,
I
I would say that's my favorite to win.
I agree, man, with everything you said. They're extremely balanced. They move the ball really well. They move it fast. They have guys who can do everything: pass, shoot. They play well off ball. They play well in the 2-man. They play really well in transition. So yeah, I certainly would support that for sure. It's a loaded team. It's a loaded. There's so much talent in that league, but they're loaded, man. And like you said, they play so well together, which
Yeah.
means a lot in that league. When you're only together once a week, twice a week, that it matters.
That unselfish brand of lacrosse is what we're talking about in the college game with Schellenberger and making his teammates better. But I think you got guys like Asher Nolting and Holman that have
Yeah.
really great vision, and they're able to make their players better and get some production out of their midfield from their with their vision. So yeah, and there's really not a lot of high scoring in the PLO right now, which is cool too. And it's because of the goalie play, and it's because these defensemen are getting a lot better, right? These defenders are.
Yeah, I also just love the version of the game. I think it's the best version of the game there is. A shorter field, 52-second shot clock. I think it's 52. It's unbelievable. They get up and down, and it's a shorter game. So I think what happens is they don't necessarily need it to be 17-16. The 10-9, 11-10 is good. What is it, 12-minute quarters? And it's really fast paced. And I think that they're trying to legislate out the face off, which would be phenomenal.
Yeah, no more make it take it
But
lacrosse.
right, man. And I think it would be just add to the excitement. So I love everything the PLL is doing, man. It's the events are great. The version of the game they have created, in my opinion, is the best version. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's lights out, man. Like I would agree with you. I think it's the best version of the game we've ever seen. And I think it
Yeah.
just continues to get better and
I,
better. And
I
it's
wish
just like
USA Lacrosse would adopt it, man. I really do. I wish
absolutely.
that was the form of it. And if you want to make for the little guys, if you want to flip the field and whatever you want to do, like that version, though, for 13, 14 years and up should be the version.
And you probably agree with this being in tight players at attack, bring the dive back to the college game. Like I
Yeah.
said, yeah, this goal mouth rule, I get it, protect the goalie. We did see some
Yeah.
incidents in this past weekend with Providence and St. Joseph's, a couple scary moments for their goalie. But how do you feel about this goal mouth rule, man?
I look, the short answer is that I understand both sides of it. I'm in favor of protecting the goalies, but I'm also very much red or blue in the sense of we're gonna dive or we're not gonna fucking dive. You know what I mean? We saw it at the end of the Q's Maryland game. Remember when the kid dove and they called it off and nobody could figure out did his knee graze the line when the ball went in? And
Yeah,
it needs to be. I don't know what they need to do. I don't know if they just need to take the mouth away and make the crease bigger. You know what I mean? And just be
yeah.
able to dive through the fucking thing. Whatever they want to do, we could sit down and have. But I love the dive. I love it. And I think that I understand the safety of the goalie wholeheartedly. We should totally protect those guys. But look, if it's going to be a penalty if they dive through the goal mouth, why don't we just take the goal mouth out and just say, look, you have to dive basically parallel with the goalie. If you dive at him, no goal.
Yeah.
If you dive parallel with him, goal. Because ultimately, the goal mouth is a good thing to shoot for. Like you said in the Providence game, I didn't see it, but it sounds like somebody either got pushed into or dove into the goalie. And it's the goal mouth doesn't really save you there. So I think, get rid of the goal mouth, dive all you fucking want.
Yeah.
Dive away from the goalie. Dive away from the goalie, and we can have the replay or call it discretionary. If you dive at the goalie, I don't give a fuck if you land in, ball goes in, you land in, you don't hit him. You dive at him, no goal. You dive away from him or parallel, goal.
Because it didn't seem like we had that many problems back when it was as long as the ball goes in before you land in the crease.
No,
It never seemed
we
like
didn't have any.
yeah, the goalie may bang you up a little bit, but that's expected. We're used to that going in there. But to me, it feels like
I
almost
just think,
taking
man,
it's like kind of
one
like
of the things that's frustrating about the sport is that they just make this shit too fucking complicated. The
yeah.
face-off rules, I don't even know what the fuck they are anymore. Every year, there's 10 different rules with that. And it's, look, now we have the goal map. Nobody knows what it's for. If you're able to just take the goal map out, keep the crease, but make it so it's red or it's blue. You dove at the goalie, you dove away from
Yeah, absolutely. To me,
him.
it feels like it's almost like the equivalent to taking the slam dunk out of basketball, right?
Your shoulders were either going towards him or they weren't. It's
Exactly.
pretty easy to call. It's a pretty and teach your guys, look, man, dive all you want, dive away from him.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And look, I can't say it enough. I am in favor of protecting the goalies wholeheartedly. But look, if somebody dives and they get pushed in the air, is the goal mouth going to prevent him from doing that? No. So that's
Yeah.
no different than not having the goal mouth, really. And just tell your guys, look, dive all you want. And I would make it a thing where, look, if you dive at him and or make contact, it's no goal. So do with
Yeah.
that what you want. But So I wish that they would make it more clean cut. I think that there's one thing about lacrosse is there's too many hands in the pot, too many shot callers. I think that we need to make things less complicated. I think it would help the casual fan because right now
Yeah.
the casual fan who maybe watches every other year, right, whatever, they don't know what the rules are at the face off. Now they're looking at the crease like, what the fuck are those lines?
To be real, the broadcasts, they don't really, they're at the point now, I'm sure they're tired of constantly explaining the rules almost like they used to back in the early
Dude, now it's like
2000s when it was on ESPN, right? You're explaining the
right, and
game,
it's
like the entire game, just keep it simple, right?
100%, man. And now it's we have instant replay. We don't have instant replay. We have it if the coaches agree. We have it at a conference. It's do we have replay or do we not have replay?
Yeah.
And
I
you
think,
know,
I think, and I think all conferences should adopt it. I think Penn State got hosed
yeah,
against Duke. I think that was the most unbelievable. And I'm not just saying that because I had Penn State money line, but I thought it
a
was.
little bit. You're a little biased, but we'll let it go.
But it just for a big moment like that to for a missed call to take away from a big moment like that, it sucks. It sucks to see. That's part of the game. You're gonna have missed calls, you're gonna have things like that. But I think the review really helps. I thought it was good. I agreed with, reacting quick on it and instead, but I think all the conferences just need to follow suit and just have it. So we agree there.
Yeah, I
But
agree. They need to do it or not do it. And you know what? And there's got to be a time limit with it. I know we need to look to make the call get right. It goes on, or you get one challenge a game, or however they want to do that. But yeah, they need to make it more efficient and make it so everybody is playing on the same fucking rules. Not, hey, let's only have it in the tournament. What the fuck? What are those games more important? So it's
because even I'm watching these small schools, I got to watch these small games, Siena and teams like that, and they're doing the review. So it's
yeah.
if they're doing it, why the hell is the Big Ten not doing it? Like,
I think a lot of it too is that they can't get the coaches to agree, and you know how that shit is. It's just a nightmare with getting some of those guys to agree about anything at all.
it is, yeah. Before I let you go, man, we got to run through a couple games this weekend. We got
Let's
some big
do it.
matchups Saturday, bro. We got some huge matchups. We got UVA and Harvard this week, and they're playing at Klockner. They're playing in
Throw
Virginia.
me some lines, baby. Throw me some lines. I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna spit some game right here on everybody.
Man, I wish I had lines for the weekend. I don't have lines. DraftKings doesn't have the lines up yet for the weekend,
Let me hop on
unfortunately.
Caesars. Let me hop on Caesars and
Hop
see
on
what we
Caesars.
got here. Let me
What is
see if he's
Caesars got? Oh,
so we have BU at Duke tomorrow. Duke -6.5. They're coming. They've been playing a little slow lately. I am taking the Duke Blue Devils
bang.
-6.5. The juice is -115. Pull me down for 115 to make a fucking handy
Love
and go
it.
Duke.
I love that. I love that pick. I think they're playing fast pace now. I think some of those scares, some of those that L that they had to Cuse, I think that was a wake up call for the offense. I think they figured some things out. I think they figured that look, we need Brendan O'Neill with the ball. We need to have him
100%.
with the
100,
ball
the guy should have the ball on his stick every fucking possession.
every time. And I get playing the two-man game with the two other attackmen, who are also very incredible. I think Duke is one of the best attack squads in the country right now, but he needs to
Very
touch the
good. Very
ball.
good.
He needs to touch the ball every time down. And I know he's getting the best defender, and I know that. I know they're trying to lock him off. But look, let's be real. You can't lock off Brendan O'Neill, dude. He's probably the most dynamic attackman we've ever seen as far as athleticism is concerned. This dude's got quads like Saquon, dude. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, he's unbelievably athletic. And if they're going to play a lot, watching some of their games, it looks like they have operated a lot out of that 23. Man, if you want to shallow cut that midi right there and let him go ahead and just sweep, or if you want to bring him down and play the two-man and have them play off ball, they want to have that exchange or that backside exchange. But I think the key for him, man, would be have him go and get that left-handed top side, man, from a lot of different from a lot of different reps out of that 2-3 from that left-handed wing and then go. And then look, you could always get into that 2-2-2 and let him go in that low spot too. At X are kind of at that corner spot right there with the hash and let him go. But he needs to have the ball on his stick every possession, man. It's not one of those things where everybody's keen on him so much that when he takes a step back and is a facilitator, the team's better. They are as good as they're going to be when he is rolling. When he's rolling, they're rolling. They got to get him the ball all the time.
Get him the rock. Only thing is, don't get him the rock if the net is empty for you Boston guys that are going to take the points here. Man, he did me dirty last week. He did me dirty Sunday. I had Denver +3 in the hook. and 40 seconds left in the game. Goalie comes out to midfield, and you're down 3 or 40 seconds left. I don't know what the hell you're doing, but he's playing him out at midfield. Brandon O'Neill, I guess he wanted to pad the stats, so he dumped one in from the restraining box and covered. I was so pissed. But
Uh,
I'm gonna roll with the Blue Devils. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm gonna roll with them. I think that game is
nice.
tomorrow, actually. Yeah, big slate
Tomorrow at 3. Yeah, I think they're only doing lines like 24 hours out. Lacrosse gets no fucking love.
No love, man. And DraftKings has been a little better with it. They usually put them out a few days in advance. Maybe it's just because
Right.
there's a
Right.
big slate. Another one though tomorrow that's interesting is Lehigh and Loyola. Or no, I'm sorry, that's Friday. Lehigh Loyola. They're playing at Lehigh. I've been watching them play. I've been watching Lehigh play a lot. I stopped watching Loyola. Last time I saw Loyola play was I think the Colgate game, and
Yeah,
that
I
was
was gonna
after
say,
the
man, I might be taking Lehigh outright there.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm really with you here. Man, I think they got what it takes to get it done. They played with Army. They really played.
Yeah,
They covered against Army. I think they lost by 4 or 5 in that one.
yeah.
I think Loyola has an issue with penalties. They have a major issue. I think they're in the box quite a bit, and unfortunately, Towson wasn't able to capitalize on them when I had them against them. But yeah, I'm with you. I think we take the money line here. I think we take the money line. I think we play two. I think we take the points plus 2.5.
I'm Yeah, hell yeah, I would do it. The big
Yeah,
question is we got to get a taste with Lax Locks, some motherfucking D3 lines.
that's what we need, baby. Where are the D3 lines at? That would be
D3
incredible.
lines all day, baby.
Oh yeah. Real quick, man, just a couple games of the week, just to pick them here since we don't have the lines up. We got to talk about some of these matchups. We got one that really stands out is Michigan Hopkins. Who do you just have winning that game? Who do you have winning that one?
Honestly, man, the Navy comeback was tough, but I'm going to say this, man. I think Hopkins runs away with that.
I think Hopkins taps that ass.
I do. I think this is my feeling on Hopkins. They're going to win the Big Ten because they took a bad loss to Navy and they lost to Denver on that fluky dookie fucking thing. And they beat Hopkins, but they lost to Q's up there. They're probably not going to get a seed in the tournament. But one thing I will say is they're going to be a fucking nightmare first round I get matchup for
Yeah.
a seeded team is going to get Hopkins and say, fuck, this is anything but a first round game. Like, I think Hopkins is fucking legit. Totally understand it was a shitty loss in Navy. I watched that game. I don't know how the fuck I flipped off that game to go to the Stevenson Lynchburg game. Flip back, I was like, fucking 8-7 Navy. What the fuck? Because Navy like couldn't catch and throw earlier this year.
No.
And so I get it. That should play. It should play into their seeding or lack of seeding. But I think that they're really good, and they're gonna get a seeded team in that first round, in the NCAA tournament. And that seeded team is gonna go, fuck, we got a bad bid here.
Yeah. And
Because I think Hopkins could still run it and get to the Final Four, man. I still think they could.
and not to pat ourselves on the back, but we did have that Navy upset. We did have that spread, and that was a little shock. It's a rivalry game, but moving forward, you got to throw those rivalries out the window when you're analyzing these. And I think you're right with Hopkins. And what stands out to me with them is they're probably the most physical team defensively I think I've seen in college this year. These guys get after ground balls, and they're gonna light you up. They're gonna light you up.
They look good, man. They look good. I'm a Hopkins believer. Despite they were winning the whole Denver game. Yes, they lost last second. Denver's a good team. Yes, they lost to a bad Navy team. They lost to a tight, very good and young Syracuse team. I still think Hopkins runs the table, wins the Big Ten. Probably not going to get a seed. I think we see them no lower than the quarterfinals.
And is Cuse ever speaking of that? Is Cuse ever going to have an actual road game?
Everything's in the
dome or neutral,
dome,
or it's neutral.
Everything's in the dome. And you know what they need to start doing, man? Because I was actually talking to my dad about this. These Saturday evening, 6 p.m. Saturday games are fucking phenomenal.
Yes,
like
even
love
the
these
Friday
games, man. Nobody's doing shit else. It's cold and shitty out. Nobody's doing a fucking thing. Yeah. We're putting the 6 or 7 p.m. game on, dude. It's fucking fun. And the games when Hughes played Maryland, unreal fucking game. I think that was
Hopkins Saturday
played
night.
Syracuse late. Yeah, Hopkins played Syracuse at 4. It was like an evening game. It was fucking awesome.
It was
like, dude, those 6 p.m. like ESPN Plus games of the week. Whoever the fuck, if you're listening to this, do that shit every week.
Keep fucking doing it. And you know what else?
Because
The
it's
Friday game, the Friday night, they call it the
Friday
happy
was
hour
fun
game.
too, bro.
Oh my
100%.
god! And what's crazy about the Friday night game? Here's a stat: the underdog has not only covered but hit the money line the past 3 Friday night games. Navy over Hopkins, Cuse over Duke plus 2.5.
Yup.
The money line was like close to plus 200, and Penn over Duke.
And Penn over
That was
Duke. Yeah, I
a
remember that.
Friday night too. These games, we love that matinee, that happy hour match. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Keep doing it. Gives
I
us
think it's
something else to
sweet.
watch.
Look, man, if they want to do a game of the week Friday and Saturday evening, I love it. I can settle for a Saturday only. And dude, make it some motherfucking bangers, please.
Yeah.
ACC, some Big Ten, some top of the Ivy. Make it a banger. It's fun. The games are awesome. They're fast. They're physical. Fucking that Maryland Q's game was unfucking believable.
Incredible, incredible. And this Saturday, it looks like the night game 4:30 game is Ohio State Rutgers, last game of the day. That's a tough one. I want to wait to see the line. I feel like the Buckeyes have been improving, but it just doesn't seem like they can finish games in the fourth. I don't know. Have you had a chance to watch them this year?
Yeah, not a ton, but I would say I would be curious to see what that line would be. I would say I would take Ohio State up to, if it's anything below 3.5, Ohio State no brainer to cover.
And
No
you
brainer to
think Ohio
cover.
State's going to be the favorite?
No, I'm saying it. If Ohio State was the dog up to about, like if they were plus 3.5 and down, I think I take them.
And just
Anything
because the
above
defense?
3, yeah, anything above 3, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, say it's 4.5. Say Ohio State's plus 4.5. I think I like that. I think I like Ohio State there.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. This might be a game, and they're playing at Ohio State again. Ohio State starting to feel like Syracuse. They're getting everything in Columbus, it
Yeah,
seems. But I think this is a game. If we see a big money line for Ohio State, I might even venture to take it. That kid and goalie, Caleb
I'm not
Fayok,
against.
big tasty. Shout out to you, bro. Having a hell of a year, dude. Freshman. I think him, and the defense. I think that really puts them in that cover spot, puts them in that cover zone. So I
Yeah,
would agree with you, man. Plus 3.5,
yeah.
and they're due. They got to get a big W on the schedule. I think this is the one they would do, but Rutgers does have a dynamic offense. It's one of those we got to wait to see the line. But last but not least, Cuse Notre Dame. Who do you got in that?
They're playing in South Bend. I would venture to say that the line is probably. I would say that I would think potentially
Oh, they
because
are
it's in
playing
South
Notre Dame.
Bend and you have the travel factor there. I would think that the line would be anywhere from Notre Dame giving 1.5 to 3.5, and I would say the sweet spot is probably Notre Dame minus 2.5.
Oh, okay, okay.
And you
And
know what? I've been pulling for Q's all fucking year because I love Q's. I could see this being like a 14-11 game for no real other reason than you know how it is. You get on that damn bus. I don't know if they're flying or whatever, but you're just in a faraway place. It's going to be fucking cold there. They play in the dome. It's still a young team. It's a big time conference game. I think Q's is a dark horse to get to the Final Four and potentially beyond it because I think that they're a good young team who is learning how to win and has been unbelievable this year, and they're going to be even better this time next year. They are going to be the number one team in the country. I just think that young team on the road, cold, outside when they're a dome team against a bona fide top 5 team in conference.
and
I just it's going to
I
be
would agree
hard for
with
me
you.
to take it's going to be hard for me to take Syracuse in that money line. Could they cover the 2.5 for sure? Do I think they're going to money line? No. And realistically, I think that if it was minus 2.5, I think Notre Dame is the play there for me.
I'm with you, and I think we might see a minus 2.5, -3 line.
That's
Please
what I
give
would
that. Please
feel
give
pretty.
that to us, Vegas. Please give it to us because we're gonna hammer it. I would love to
Yeah.
hammer that.
Yes, we
And
are.
I had a conversation with a good buddy of mine who's now coaching up in the Woodlands and here in Houston. Danny Dolan played for the Long Island Lizards, was Maryland
Okay.
Terrapin, and he said one of the toughest road trips ever is and almost impossible is Notre Dame because you got to take a couple flights just to get into South Bend.
You
And you
do,
got to
bro.
get
You have to,
and you
you
have
have
to
to
take a long bus ride once you get off the flight.
Dude,
And
when I was with the Atlanta Blaze, we had an exhibition up at Notre Dame on Super Bowl weekend 2016 when I was with the Blaze. We went up there, Bro, you fly into Chicago and you got to take a fucking hour and a half. It's like South Bend's far as shit. You got to take, bro, you land in Chicago and got to take a bus back out of the fucking central time zone. It's so fucked up.
Oh,
You're
fuck
in the
that.
central time zone and then you're not. And then you go back to the airport and you are. It's fucked up. And that's why I'm saying, man, it's no disrespect to Hughes. I think Hughes is fucking good, man. But I think that road trip against Notre Dame, playing outside as cold as a motherfucker in South Bend until July. And look, that 2.5 could be a little generous, man. It could be 3.5. And I
I'm
still
still
think I
taking
would
it.
take Notre Dame.
Still taking
Yeah, I am too.
I'm
But
with you.
fucking awesome lacrosse, bro. I can't wait.
I fucking can't wait, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on, dude. But before you
Yeah,
go,
man.
man, what you got to give the kids a little something. We got a lot of kids that are following us, kids in high school, kids that are committed, kids that are making some moves into college. What kind of advice do you have for these guys?
Man, go out there and play because you want to play, man. Be the kid that just keeps showing up, play hard. All the social media stuff that you read, you hear. I know as a 15-year-old, it's hard to believe. A lot of it is fabricated and not always that true. Go out, play hard, be coachable, be a good teammate, control your attitude, control your effort, and go out and do the thing, right? You put all the effort into it, go out and play. You know what I mean? Don't play reckless, don't play stupid, but go out and play. Don't be scared to make a mistake. Go out, trust in the training. Don't get all wrapped up in who said everybody's going everywhere, man. All your friends, they're hearing from everywhere. They're not. Go out, trust in your training, control what you can control. Good effort, good attitude, good teammate, and go out and play to the best that you know how to play and the best that you fit into your team. And do that every day and be the kid that keeps showing up under those specs, and you're gonna have a good career. You're gonna have a good career.
I love that, man. I love that. Though Jimmy Dailey, folks, friend of the pod, big friend of the pod. I got some swag coming your way too. We got one coming your way. I got some lids coming out. We're gonna send them to you, bro. Get you
I
hooked
love
up,
it,
man.
man.
And we love having you
Hey,
on.
I really love being on. Awesome. Love what you guys are doing, man. Show's amazing. Been following on social media. I think the pics and all that. The coolest thing, man. It brings more spice to the game. It's a lot more fun. And the game's already been, the play on the field's already been amazing. But adding a little more juice to it with some literal juice is all that can be asked for. So it's a lot of fun, my man. Always great catching up with you. Always a big fan. Love what you're doing with the pod. And man, I'd love to come on anytime, brother. It was an honor to come on and talk. And also, Coach T, love you. Hope all is well, and hope all is going well. And love to talk lax with Coach T at some point, man. Tell him I said hello if he's listening.
We got to
Love to
have
hear
him
from you,
on.
and hope all's well.
We got to have him on. Next time you come on, we'll have to have him on. That would be awesome.
Absolutely,
Absolutely, man. Well,
absolutely, man. Well,
thanks for joining us,
appreciate it,
bro.
my man, and talk to you soon.
Absolutely. We'll have you on again soon, buddy.
Yes, sir. Hey, best of luck with them picks this weekend. We're locked
Hey,
in, baby.
we're locked in, baby. We're locked in at Lax Locks. It's time to wake them up. We got games tomorrow. Let's get it, baby.